What can audiences expect with this new adventure?
I think audiences are just going to have the same kind of fun that they've had with a lot of the other Ice Age movies. It's a rollicking good time. We're going to see Crash and Eddie, who are some of our more dynamic characters, mixing it up with Buck, who is arguably one of the most wild characters that we have in the franchise, going on a wild adventure together. And we're also going to get a chance to kind of get to know Buck a little bit more, and Crash and Eddie, as we get to spend more time with them and unravel a little bit more about what makes them tick. And pairing Buck against Z, this new character, who's every bit his equal in many ways, challenges him in ways that he isn't normally challenged in our movies. So we're going to really get to know Buck quite well in this one.
All right. We'll do this one in a two-parter. Why did you decide to build the film around Buck Wild?
You know, ever since we had Buck appear in Dawn of the Dinosaurs, audiences just fell in love with him, and we fell in love with him because he's just such a larger than life, lovable, colorful character. He's joyful, he's wacky, he's eccentric. He lives in a world of dinosaurs. He talks to rocks and has relationships with tree stumps. I mean, he's just a really raucous character, and he's a guardian of the lost world. He's a swashbuckling hero. I mean, it felt like he's the character to build a film around. It made it very easy and a very easy decision for us to choose Buck to be the center focal point of this movie.
What is it about his character that makes him so appealing to fans and audiences?
I think people love Buck so much because he's just such a swashbuckling, adventurous character. He's unpredictable and a little bit nuts. But the great thing about him is he's always so loyal. He's got this heart that is like bigger than life. And he's just the kind of character that you're going to want to go on an adventure with. The typical hero that just takes you on this great adventure.
Perfect. All right, next question, please. Tell us about the Lost World. What is it about the Lost World that makes it the perfect setting for much of the film?
The Lost World is an amazing world that we introduced in Dawn of the Dinosaur, and we actually created a mythology for it in Collision Course a little later on, and it really is the idea that dinosaurs didn't necessarily all go extinct with the fall of the asteroid, and some of them actually went underground and were able to survive, and that's what the Lost World is all about. It's a lost world of dinosaurs, which is pretty magnificent for us to be able to go back to a place and time that's kind of stood still, but also evolved at the same time a little bit. So the Lost World is an incredibly fantastical place. The point that we introduce it now is that since that time of Dawn of the Dinosaurs and Collision Course, mammals have now moved down there. So Buck is not the only mammal there. There are other mammals that have been there for a while, and that's the whole point of this movie, is to show the idea that Buck and Z, his counterpart and perfect equal, who are guardians of the Lost World, for them to create a place of harmony between the dinosaurs and the mammals. And that's sort of the gist of the story in this movie, that they're trying to protect it and make all the species get along. And of course, we have a villain who doesn't want that to happen, who thinks dinosaurs belong in the Lost World and not mammals. So that's one of the reasons why I think the setting is perfect for the film. And it's also a really magical place. And I don't mean magic like there are magic spells. I mean magic in that we've never seen things like that. There are carnivorous plants. Buck has relationships with rocks and all kinds of things in there. They're dangerous, perilous places that, that are your life is at stake by just going to some of these places. And having adventures in that world and exploring new parts of that world is really what we wanted to do. And I still want to do it. I don't think I've seen enough of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a ripe environment to create spaces which don't exist in reality. It's a bit of a fantastical place. I mean, it's so much fun to see Buck and Crash and Eddie flying on the back of a pterodactyl, being chased by raptors, or going into crazy jungly areas or inside trees and logs and things. It's just a really fun, fantastic place to go.
What can you tell us about the new characters of Orson and Z? What did they bring to the story?
Why don't you go ahead, John?
Sure. Okay. In bringing Orson to life, I mean, Orson is this villain who lives in the lost world and believes that dinosaurs should be king. Dinosaurs should be, the lead species down there, and he, being the smartest one, is the natural leader. He should be the king of the lost world. So he takes it upon himself to like be its ruler, and this is in contrast to Buck, who feels that it should be an idyllic place, a place where everybody can be united and share in the joys and wonders of the place. And so that puts them in natural conflict. But what I love about Orson so much is that he's a character that has just got a giant ego, and but he's paired with a couple of sidekicks that are as dumb as they come. And so this just drives him crazy. So this is just a really fun dynamic to have with the character. So it makes him both villainous and comedic. And I love those two combinations together. As far as Z goes, Z is a character that is from Buck's sort of past that we didn't know about prior. And she is like Buck in that she wants to protect the lost world and create a place of unity. She's got a just cause. So she's every bit as daring and capable and athletic as Buck is. She's graceful and powerful. She's just grounded in reality a bit more. And she also, like Buck, wants to create this place that's safe for everyone. But they have some history that they have to work through, and some friendship issues that makes for a very interesting story for Buck and Z to navigate through.
How does it feel to have the entire Ice Age collection available now on Disney Plus?
It's an awesome feeling to know that people, like new generations of kids, are going to be able to watch Ice Age from the beginning through to this new film, and it's kind of it's been a long journey for us, but it's so rewarding, and I feel a lot of pride that people are actually going to be able to watch it. They've watched it since the beginning, and it's great that new people will be able to see it. And again, families love the show and they watch it together, and I think that's always a plus, isn't it?
I'll add to this one too. So, one of the great things that we all experience, especially in these times, is this idea that we want to binge on something. So it's pretty amazing to have all of the whole Ice Age canon available to sit down and watch. And the great thing is too, that you can watch it with the whole family. You can sit down, it's going to be safe for your younger child. It's going to be fun for teens and adults and grandparents. It's really can be a family affair. And the great thing about it is, like I said, you can have a whole Ice Age day if you want. Just watch the whole thing from beginning to end. Watch them again. It's really cool to be able to see the evolution of the characters and follow them in the way, and then have it bring you to our most current story. I think would be really fun for everybody to watch.
What attracted me to Z was that she was fearless and courageous and adventurous. Here's this little mammal just trying to create this incredible world, and she's going to do it. She's a leader, and she's somebody that I'd want on my side and want on my team. I hope that audiences will respond, will love her. And I really, really hope that little girls will see themselves in her, will understand that you don't just have to be one thing. You can be strong and you can be vulnerable. You can be tough and you can be loving. And also you can do anything. As long as you have courage and you have heart, anything is possible. Audiences can expect to meet a new character, which is Z, and they can expect to have a lot of wonderful adventures and have a lot of laughs while watching these adventures. Well, some of the unique messages the film delivers are really the reasons that I'm so attracted to these films. The sense of family, of chosen family, of community, of finding your herd, of equality, of justice, of, saying you don't need a superpower, you just need courage and you need heart. So it's all hope, it's all beauty. It's like saying you can make a difference in this world. No matter how small you think you are, you can make a difference, and you're special and you're unique. Why is Disney Plus the perfect destination for the Ice Age collection? Because it lets families enjoy this wonderful franchise. They can see it in one sitting and two sittings. They can see it over the week, and they could make it a family affair. Watch a movie a day.
Buck Wild is a weasel who lost an eye to a large albino dinosaur. He lives in a large underground cave, which is home to a whole population of dinosaurs that survived the meteor that killed the dinosaurs we know and love. And he's a sort of swashbuckling, adventurous weasel. He's a bit of a loner. He has, I would say, a thin grip on reality. He tends to talk to a lot of inanimate objects. He didn't have many friends, certainly in the initial stages of his time down there, although he's made a few since, not least in the Ice Age herd, who he joined in Dawn of the Dinosaurs and Collision Course, but also, as we learn in the new movie, The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, a Zorilla called Z and some dinosaur friends with whom he formed a sort of superhero team to keep peace and harmony in the Lost World. Unfortunately, there was an incident, and he's found himself alone again, living with his daughter, who is a pumpkin, called Bronwyn, in his little pad in the Lost World, which is interrupted by Crash and Eddie, who decide to come back and join their old pal, which is the beginnings of our movie. I love playing Buck, just because he's such an energetic character. He's so positive and funny, and he is an absolute riot to play. I think any actor wants to play characters who are sort of interesting and invigorating to perform, and Buck is very much that. He's just 100% energy all the time, and I love it. I love playing him, and it was a thrill to get the opportunity to play him in a more sort of main stage capacity. Oh, well, I mean, that's not for me to say, is it? I mean, hopefully it's because he is a very watchable and entertaining character. I think there's something about Buck's sort of drive and his enthusiasm and his loyalty and his devotion to his new friends that kind of make him fun. He's also utterly sort of crazy in that he has spent a long time on his own. So he's developed relationships with inanimate things and plants. And he has a pterodactyl who he rides around, which is kind of sweet. I think he's just a bit irresistible, Buck. He certainly is for me. I love to play him. And it's lovely when you hear from people that they feel the same way about him. He's just a lovable weasel. Well, the great thing about this new adventure is that we return to the realm of the Lost World, which is this vast underground cavern, which is home to a population of hitherto extinct dinosaurs. It's as if they somehow managed to avoid the big asteroid that ended the reign of the dinosaurs. And in this world is preserved this prehistoric sort of Eden, in which Buck initially is the only mammal. In the new film, Crash and Eddie, the possums that we first met in Ice Age: The Meltdown, decide they want to leave their own herd and their sister, Ellie, their adoptive sister, and perhaps branch out on their own, which is a thing I think a lot of people can relate to, a lot of young adults can relate to. But it's not always easy to do. Sometimes, you feel like maybe the people you leave behind are going to feel a little bit lost, or maybe you're going to feel a little bit lost. So this film is really about leaving home, and Crash and Eddie decide to return to the Lost World and meet up with their old pal Buck for an adventure, which you have to see to believe. I think all the Ice Age movies are very different, but the core sort of beliefs of Ice Age, the idea of family, the idea of cooperation and harmony, they persist. This film, as I say, takes us back to the Lost World, and focuses particularly on Crash, Eddie, Buck, and some new characters in Z, who is sort of Buck's female counterpart in a way. She is another very resourceful, very courageous, very adventurous young mammal. A little bit more sort of sane, I think, than Buck. And, thank goodness for that, because she forms his kind of, his anchor to reality, and their friendship is very important in the movie. But the overall theme, as always, is that of family and how we navigate family, how our families can be made up of people who seem extremely different, almost a different species at times. I know parents of teenagers can often feel that way, and I'm sure teenagers do too. So it's another look at the dynamic of the family, but in a whole new adventure, a new story, and with some great new characters. I think with this one, as I say, at a time when we've all been very cooped up because of the pandemic, and often, been with the people we love more than we usually would. This film is all about what it's like to feel like you want to escape those sort of those structures that you've been living in, and how it feels for the people that are leaving, and how it feels for the people that are left behind. It's a timely message, I think, and it basically saying that it's okay to feel that way. It doesn't mean you don't love the people that you live with. It just means sometimes you want to branch out on your own. I think another message is that it's okay to ask for help. I mean, Buck is someone who is resolutely a loner and sometimes thinks that he has to do everything by himself. And I think it's a good thing to be able to say to your friends, do you know what? I might need some help with this, or maybe we can do this together. Those things are important. And I think particularly for young people who feel like they can't ask for help. That seems like a huge kind of heavy thing, but it's done with such a lightness of touch. It really, I think, sings in this movie. Well, it's wonderful that Disney are now curating this series of films, and what a great place for them to be. You can see the whole of the Ice Age story, all 20 years of it, on Disney Plus now, and it's wonderful to have a sort of one-stop shop for all your Ice Age needs. I hope it goes on. I'm not sure if what the plans are. I can't confirm or deny anything, but it seems to me Ice Age has found a wonderful home, and I don't see as the reason why there wouldn't be 20 more years.